Hey Doc, it's me, Sam. Yeah, I'm doing well. What can you do for me? I was curious if you could find me the will to live. Yeah, I know I say that joke every time, sorry, yeah. You can. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll be right by. Hello everybody, my name is Samantha, and today I'm gonna walk you through my experience with Lexapro. And I actually take the off-brand version. It's called escitalopram. I don't know how to say it, but whatever. When I was looking into going onto anti-anxiety or antidepressant medication, I was watching a lot of videos and reviews about different medications, and there's quite a few on Lexapro, which was really helpful, but I just thought the more the merrier, so here I am. And by the way, sorry, my little puppy, she's chewing on a nylabone and she's kind of needy, so she wants to be around me, and I don't want to put her in her crate, so she's just gonna hang out with us. Beginning in middle school and before that time, I was a really sociable kid. I was really outgoing, really hyper, and basically nothing could hold me back from being myself. I was loud. I was a theater kid because I went to an art school, so I was constantly doing improv, and it didn't make me nervous, and I was screaming in the hallways and just being an outrageously loud, uninhibited kid. But I did realize in 8th grade, when I hit puberty or started my menstrual cycle, I began to change a bit. My overall disposition just got a little bit different, and I became a lot more anxious, and I worried a lot about what I was saying, and I kind of just went into my shell. I stopped talking to people as much, and it did not help that when I was in 8th grade, that's kind of when everyone started getting iPhones and social media was blowing up. So it was really easy for me to go into my shell, constantly be on my phone, constantly be just expressing myself online and talking to people on my phone as opposed to interacting with people in real life. So I went from kind of being friends with everyone in middle school to really only talking to a few of my good friends and feeling nervous to talk to anybody else. It was a really weird time. And I just I'm gonna have to put her away. I distinctly remember in either 8th or 9th grade, there was this boy that liked me, and I liked him too, and we'd met each other before, and we were talking all the time, and I was with a couple of my friends at like a local fair, or I don't really know what it was, but they were like, let's go walk over and say hi to him, and he told me where he was, and we walked over, and I saw him like from a distance, and I couldn't go over there even though I knew him. I was just so anxious, and then I went home and I was crying in my bed, and I told my mom, I have anxiety, I need to go on medication, blah 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 blah. And my mom did bring me to the doctor, and I tried to go on a medication, but honestly I didn't take it consistently. So that was it for that, and my parents just kind of thought I was like phased, and I don't know, that was the first time I remember having really bad anxiety. And just a little disclaimer, I completely believe that you should begin with eating healthy, exercising frequently, making sure that you're interacting with people a lot, socializing yourself, because not doing any of these things can definitely contribute to a lot of anxiety. But I know that for me, because in college I was working out and interacting with a lot of people, eating healthy and all those things, and it was still taking over my mind frequently. I knew that I had a real problem. So I just had invasive thoughts, like fears that were completely irrational, that made me cry almost every day. I was crying basically every day. Like I didn't feel depressed, but I would just have these really sad thoughts, and then I couldn't stop crying. I would cry to myself to sleep a lot, and it was just because of these thoughts that were completely irrational. And so I went to a therapist, and one day I just broke down in her office, and she was asking me what's wrong, and told her my thoughts that didn't really have any backing behind them, like just fears, like I don't even want to go into them honestly, but she told me she thinks I need to go to a psychiatrist. I started on Lexapro, and some of the side effects I experienced were vision impairment, like everything was a little bit blurry. It sounds a little weird, but driving became a bit weird. And I definitely think that everyone should take precautions when they first start going on like an antidepressant or anything like that. Be really careful, because if you start on too much, then the side effects are going to be a lot worse, which I did. I started on too much. I started on like 20 milligrams, which I should have started on about 10. And 10 is what I'm on now. And 10 is pretty much perfect for me. And also super intense dreams. I feel like my sleep is not as deep and not as effective when I'm on these. So I have really vivid dreams, and that means I'm not going into the deepest form of sleep, which means that I don't feel as rested in the morning as a result of this. And I still have super vivid dreams all the time, which before I went on this medication, I don't remember having dreams at all. But this medication has honestly cleared my mind, although I do feel like I have brain fog, or I feel kind of out of it sometimes, kind of like what you'd imagine to feel when you're high. I do feel kind of like more very chill, and I don't have very high highs or very low lows. I feel a little less motivated than I did before. However, I have to say that anxiety affected my work ethic and my ability to get things done a lot, because my anxiety exhausted me to the point I was so tired all the time. I am still a tired girl, but I'd be so exhausted from my mind putting me through all these emotions constantly that it was hard to get things done. And when I was studying or something of that nature, I was just thinking about all the things that make me anxious, and it inhibited my work. Whereas now, I just feel less motivated. Like, I feel like I just don't care quite as much. I'm not constantly worrying about the future. I'm not constantly worrying about getting things done all the time, because I'm less stressed. I feel like I can speak a lot better now that I'm on this medication. I used to stutter a lot, get super flustered and overwhelmed easily, which I still do. I'm still human, but I used to have it happen a lot more frequently. And I work in customer service, so someone would be saying something to me or make me a little upset, and my mind kind of just froze. Whereas now, I feel like I can just sit back and hear what they're saying and slowly and calmly answer, which that is like the best thing in my opinion. I am a lot less reactive than I was before. I also feel like I'm a lot less agitated. I used to be so anxious all the time that things overwhelmed me, and I would get kind of like agitated, irritated with people a lot more easily. Whereas now I just feel calmer, and I'm a lot harder to agitate. I also feel as though my memory is better now. I feel like I was so overwhelmed previously that my mind just kind of like blanked out. And when I try to remember the past when I was younger, it's kind of hard to remember, because I just felt like I was constantly in fight or flight mode. And I don't remember a lot of things. I mean, I know you don't remember everything that happens to you, but I feel like I blacked out for years, just repressing and repressing and repressing, because I was so anxious all the time. And now I am just more at ease, and I remember things more easily, which is really helpful to my everyday life. I also feel like my relationships have improved on medication, especially romantically, because previously I was very reactive and things hurt me really easily, and I always was overthinking possible situations in my head that weren't based on reality. And now it's pretty hard to bother me. I feel really calm, and I don't ponder about possible negative things that could happen in my relationship. I just enjoy the moments as they come, and I know that if something bad were to happen, that I'd be able to handle it and I'd be okay. So yeah, Lexapro has been great for me. I definitely think that starting low is the way to go. But I have bad experiences too with other medications like Prestige. It has a really short half-life, so if you don't take it at the time that you're supposed to take it, you can get flu-like symptoms, just feel horrible. Whereas with this one, it has a pretty long half-life. I forget exactly what it is, but if I miss a dose, I feel pretty much fine the next day, and I can just take it whenever I'm with my medication next, and there's no negative effects. Do read up on side effects and the effects of going off of these medications, however, because I did try to go off of it once and I felt like I had the flu for like a week and my anxiety came back and it was really hard. So I went back on it, but yeah, you definitely do get used to being on these medications, and it is hard to revert back to not being on them. So if you ever plan on going back to not being on medication, make sure that you talk to your doctor and you're really careful about choosing which one to go on. For me, Lexapro has been immensely helpful. It took about 3 weeks or a month for me to really feel its effects. The side effects start sooner, and then like the real effects of it, I believe, take about 3 months to set in. So be patient. And in my opinion, it's definitely worth it to try it. I feel like a different person than I was before. I feel much more calm, cool, and collected. And I'm really grateful for this medication.